Welcome to Dr.MaryOz's Radical Change Now radio program. Today you will learn how to combine healing and the law of attraction to better your own life in mere weeks. Join us on our journey, which starts right now. Here's your host, Dr. Mary Oz.
So, welcome back, everybody, to the Radical Change Now show. And we are back live, and it's nice to be back. And I hope everyone had a happy holiday. And really excited to be kicking off our next segment of Radical Change Now. And we will be bringing you some of the most powerful speakers and most powerful coaches and healers that I know. So really excited about bringing Riana Milne to the show today. She is a life and love relationship coach. And I'd like to welcome you, Riana.
Hi, Mary. How are you? Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm awesome, Riana. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you.
And, I just want to talk briefly about Riana and I met on a Lisa Sasevich Sassy Mastermind. And Riana, we had Lisa on the show probably about 6 or 8 weeks ago.
Terrific. She's really fabulous. I'm sure your listeners learned a lot.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's powerful. I still get comments about her free gift that she gave out. People realize the value in it and can just see how much she can help someone's business grow.
Wonderful.
So you and I met on this mastermind, and not everybody does masterminds, right? So she has a Sassy Mastermind. And then once you're in the Sassy Mastermind, you can kind of upgrade to this Diamond level mastermind. And you and I are both in the Diamond program.
We are Diamond girls.
We are Diamond girls. And, for me, it's super exciting just to meet other healers, coaches, therapists that are incredibly powerful. You have a message and a passion for helping people and kind of bringing them out of the darkness into the light. And I'm just really excited that you said yes to the show today. I know you have some tremendous value to bring to our listeners today about relationships.
Thank you. That's true. I'm a real passionate person about what I'm talking about today, for sure.
In fact, you're my first guest in our new kickoff series. And one of the reasons I asked you to be first is because I know how powerful you are and how passionate you are. And, one of the things I got a chance to hear you give a talk, and I was impressed with the testimonials that you gave from the people's own words about how much you changed their life.
Thank you, Mary. It's so profound, working with their open hearts and minds to, work with someone of childhood trauma, because they're, initially when they come to me, they're afraid, they're a little depressed, they're a little bit anxious. It's a huge trust factor. And I feel so grateful that my clients have opened their hearts and minds to me. And because of that, they have grown so much. And the testimonials, are so different, yet so profound and really, really wonderful to read when they're done their programs with me.
And I know as a therapist and a coach, there's nothing more heartwarming than when you change somebody's life, right?
True, yes.
And in a relationship, you change two people's lives, right? And then It even reverberates out further than that into family life, children, mothers, fathers.
Absolutely,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I just want to be clear with our audience today. You're just not talking about childhood trauma related to relationships. We're also talking about dating trauma and relationship trauma as well.
Correct. Anyone that feels currently they're in an abusive relationship. So I work with people, and usually the abusive relationships, the initial stem comes from childhood trauma. So they're all interrelated.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So the title of today's show is The Shocking Truth: Why 9 out of 10 People Struggle in Life and Love, and How to Fix It. So just to let our audience know, they're in for a really big treat. Today, we're going to focus on some of the rougher stuff that doesn't feel so comfortable. But then we're going to ask Riana to come back next Wednesday, same time, same channel here on the Empowerment Channel at Voice America. And we're going to dive deeper with her around the solution of, after today, you realize, oh, crap, I got all this stuff going on and I may not have realized it. But Riana has a solution for us as well. So why don't we start off, Riana, by you just tell us a little bit more about your work, how you got into this,
Sure. I've been a couples, singles, and family therapist for over 18 years, and I started in the Atlantic City, New Jersey area and moved to Delray Beach, Florida in 2014, just mostly for the sunshine and the lifestyle here. And then I decided to become a certified life, dating, and relationship coach and trained at RCI, which is Relationship Coaching Institute, in 2009 and 10. Because I knew it would result in a better, faster, and cutting-edge quality of transformation to my clients who are all ages. So at the current time, I offer online virtual life, dating, and relationship coaching programs, which are 90 days long and held on the Life and Love Training Academy.com, and they're all originally written programs. So I coach singles and couples worldwide by either Skype or Zoom or in person in my area, Palm Beach County. And what I do is I combine coaching with psychology and clinical trauma training to address past childhood traumas experienced, whether in childhood or while dating, or, like I said, if someone's currently experiencing abuse in a relationship. And I teach the exact skills that are needed to have the life you desire and the love that they deserve. And these programs were created, Mary, out of my own search for an emotionally healthy, evolved love. And I sought out the information that wasn't taught to me. I have a triple master's in psychology, and none of this was taught. And I personally needed it at that time. And I also knew my clients were looking for some real solid research and answers on how to improve their overall quality of life and their love relationships. So I did the research for over 2.5 years, which is in my programs, and it contains techniques that you're not going to learn in any school or any standard coaching program. That does not include how childhood trauma creates emotional triggers that sabotage adult love. And, I see people from ages 5 to 85 in my practice, but now I have an equal number of single coaching clients looking to get through difficult life transitions, like through a divorce and starting over, and desiring emotionally healthy love the next time. And so I'm helping people now from 18 to 75, both men and women, straight and LGBT, as well as exclusive couples over age 25 looking to fix and improve the quality of their love relationships. And over the years, I've found that most of my clients are struggling with that anxiety, depression, as well as broken, toxic relationships due to the past trauma they experienced. So I've taken on this as my specialty area, and I teach the strategies to create healing from the past traumas and deliver coaching techniques to propel my clients into a successful future. So the transformational experience improves their passion for life, including finding that amazing life partner or improving their current love relationships. So my programs are equally for life and love transformation and to feel confident and your best in all life areas.
So I love that you do all ages, right? Because, relationship is a need-based thing, right? We all have a craving to be loved. We all have a craving to be in a healthy relationship. And then it's just not always all about a relationship. We need to have self-love, and we need to have a life that's working as well.
Absolutely.
And I think you would agree with me that it's sad and unfortunate, but not too many people find they have both at the same time.
Yeah, and a lot of my clients are very successful women, but struggle in having an emotionally healthy love, and they can't figure it out. And part of what leads them to success in business and in life is actually a coping strategy from childhood trauma. So that's a good part, that trauma can lead you to success in life, but then it often can sabotage you in love. And they can't figure out what's going on,
right.
So
it's almost like the scales are out of balance.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, I know that whether it's childhood trauma, dating trauma, or relationship trauma, it can really hold us back from finding a partner where we can have a healthy, happy relationship. Can you talk to that?
Sure. Well, there's something called childhood emotional triggers, and you are hearing more and more the word, I'm triggered by that. So what does that exactly mean? This is when an adult brings unconsciously into an adult love relationship some emotional or physical trauma that occurred in the past while they were very young, and it turned into faulty coping mechanisms. And then as an adult, they emerge as habitual destructive behavioral problems, which are often done unconsciously. So these toxic sabotaging behaviors often puts a couple at risk, and that strains the relationships and ruins the chances at emotionally healthy love. One older term maybe some of your listeners have heard to describe the situation is the ACOA, which stands for Adult Child of an Alcoholic. So that came out many years ago. And then they added, or any adult who suffered from any other types of traumas, but they weren't really describing them too well. And these children learn to survive by denying their pain and shutting down their emotions when they were anxious or afraid, choosing instead to push these emotions deep inside. And why do they do that? Because as a child, you need your parents. So you have to pretend it didn't happen. You have to hide that it happened. You have to just go on day to day and still love your parents because they take care of you. But later, they reappear unconsciously when they're an adult in a love relationship. And then that ruins the adult love relationship the ACOA really craves. And recently, and in 2014, the Kaiser Permanente group out of San Diego came out with great research that I was so thrilled to see because it clearly described the traumas. There's about 20 of them, but I'll speak today on the 10 most common ones. And awesome. My clients begin their healing from the past trauma and toxic relationships by recognizing the unconscious thought, word, or action, which is a behavior from a trigger, to make it conscious, because you can't change what you don't recognize, acknowledge, or understand. And then we deeply examine these triggers, and I provide solutions on how to correct and eventually eliminate them.
Yeah, I love that. So, you were talking about hot buttons. You were talking about triggers. So I think another word for triggers is really a hot button. And you think about being in a relationship with someone and you'd say, oh, they get under my skin, or they always push my buttons, right? So, and then really they need that self-awareness, because very often we run unconscious patterns that we're not aware of.
Yes,
right?
Very much so. Mm-hmm.
And I know in my counseling practice and in my coaching practice, I often have people say, I'm just not good at dating. I'm just not good at relationships. And those are really your ideal clients.
They are. They're just frustrated, and it's understandably so, because they come from a real place of love. They crave these relationships. They're trying very hard, and then they don't understand why they can't keep them over the long haul. And, when dating, everyone seems at first, oh, this relationship is fabulous, but they wonder, why does it fall apart? Mm-hmm. Well, many ACOAs attract other ACOAs, and this leads to toxic relationships. And this usually occurs 4 to 9 months in, or when there's some form of a commitment, like an engagement, a marriage, or even the choice of living together. And then there's different signs that the relationship is starting to turn toxic. So I'll name a couple of these. You might see your partner overworking, overeating, or overspending from anxiety. Your partner starts controlling you or others, or tries to keep you away from your friendships. They might use humor or charm to manipulate you into things you don't really want to do. You start to notice the abuse of alcohol, drugs, or sex to soothe anxiety. And maybe you're only seeing it because you're starting to live together, or they're relaxing the boundaries. They were good in the beginning.
Comfortable. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
They're more comfortable in the relationship, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then they have trouble communicating about their fears, angers, or needs. So you might see some passive-aggressive action, or they start living a secret life. And over time, the secret tends to consume them, and the power for them is in the secret. So if you ever found your partner like secretly watching porn, or being in chat rooms, drinking behind your back and saying, no, I didn't have a drink today, but noticing that, they're acting different, or they're taking pills. So they're fronting lies and manipulations, and, pretty soon the addictions start to emerge. And another thing that really happens a lot is blaming. I call it the blame game. They can't apologize. They show no remorse for their wrongdoings. And when this is really bad, this is signs of a sociopath.
Yeah, and or lack of self-awareness, right?
Yes. Well,
sociopaths one end, but I know I find in my practice that people that are blaming a lot or justifying, they really have a tough time with self-awareness. And then when someone can't do any self-awareness, you start to look for some unhealthy components.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And the reasons that they don't have the self-awareness or can't apologize is from childhood wounds.
Right. And something else I see, and I think you would agree with me, is that I'm always surprised. Like I have, sometimes I have women in their 30s that are relationship shy, or they're really just having trouble meeting a good guy and committing. Mm-hmm. And I often find out they had a high school sweetheart that they thought was a great relationship, but was either abusive or they were with an unhealthy person who did toxic love. And even at like 30 or 27, 28, 29, they're not realizing that, wow, that relationship gave me some real big misconceptions about healthy love.
Correct. And
at
they
30,
they also see that modeled by their parents. So what I wanted to talk about too was chemistry. People are like, oh, I have so much chemistry with that person. And chemistry can be very dangerous because it is pulling you to your unconscious past, what we call, quote unquote, your normal, which could have been very abnormal and abusive if you witnessed mom and dad fighting a lot. But that's what's normal in your model of a relationship.
Right. And chemistry with someone unhealthy, you can have chemistry with someone who's unhealthy, and you expect just because the chemistry, it's going to go well. But when you have an unhealthy person and you're trying to do intimacy, that doesn't usually mix well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we have about 2 minutes left before commercial break. Can you share one of your profound stories of someone's life who changed by coming to you?
Well, I have two different age categories. Usually women like 25 to 35 are coming to me really wanting marriage and a family and dating a lot of toxic partners. Unfortunately, they're swept up in the world of she's hot, she's not. And we know that app that everyone is using in the millennials. Or they're 45 to 65 and they really want a partner for the rest of their life into retirement. And like I said, I have men and women and straight and LGBT. So everyone's looking for love. And the common element of my client is they all have childhood traumas. But the best way I can describe it is I'll read a testimonial from Lisa, who's in her 50s, one of my New Jersey clients. And she says, Riana came into my life right away. I knew she was meant to be there. 18 months ago, I was struggling, lost, and helpless. Riana's supportive coaching techniques led me to find myself and to make positive lifestyle changes after a difficult time in my life following a divorce. Because of her incredible insight into life issues and her ability to express direction in her books and her coaching program, I gained the strength I needed to move forward and feel amazing. Today, I am stronger, happier, and love myself more than I ever have. It has also been an incredible journey of setting goals, focusing on the positive mindset, reading, and centering on positive and spiritual energy. I would highly recommend her coaching program, as I am now in a wonderful, emotionally healthy, and evolved relationship and knew exactly what to do to attract this type of love into my life. With thanks and love, Lisa. So we get very close when we work together because it's such an incredible journey to watch them grow and change and trust, come to trust their own intuition, you know. And like I said, I was sorely missing the instruction of how to find love. So in my books and my programs, that's why I give the exact things they need to know. And it really adds to a lot of confidence before dating.
You know, that's one of the things I find in the powerful people that I know that have a powerful message and powerful work to share with the world. You know, they were healthy enough and they had enough self-awareness to say, hey, this is missing in my life. Let me go find solutions. Let me help this part of my life heal and get right. Mm-hmm. But now that I found this amazing information or had these amazing experiences or amazing system, whatever it is, let me go share it with other people.
Exactly.
You don't want people to have that pain that you once knew.
Yes. I mean, as a psychotherapist, I can only do so much in a 45-minute session, and I only see them week to week. Coaching gives me the ability that my clients have unlimited emails. They can touch base with me 6 days a week by text. So, I mean, I am there for them, and I realize, you know, I'm working with people that were traumatized. So they need to be able to reach me when they're feeling anxious.
Yeah. Sounds like when I was listening to your testimonial, which was beautiful, again, thank you for the work that you do. But it sounds like you not only do an educational piece, be the healthy presence that they need to actually allow them to heal and transform.
Yeah. Thanks, Mary. Yes.
Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but I'm going to encourage all of our listeners to go to Dr.MaryOz Gifts, GIFTS.com. That's DrMaryOz, DrMaryOzGifts.com. Riana has a special gift for us today, and it has to do with those 2 chapters that her testimonial made reference to. I think it was Lisa, and those chapters helped Lisa change her life. And Riana has generously agreed to give you guys access to those chapters for free. Now, one of the reasons I'm mentioning this early on the show, you can go right now, you can download those chapters, is because Riana is going to be with us this week and next week, and she's willing to dive deep with us so we can get you guys on the right road. So you're going to want to check out her free gift as soon as possible. But we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back to the Radical Change Now show here on the Empowerment Channel at Voice America, Riana is going to be talking to us about 10 childhood traumas that you're going to want to know they exist, and you want to understand them a little better. And then you're going to do some self-reflecting of, do you have any of those childhood traumas in your life? So we'll be back in a few seconds.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
Dr. Mary Oz's Radical Change Coaching Program will help you set a healing foundation in your life and teach you how to manifest more of what you want. Are you ready to get the results and radical change you have been longing for too long? Very often our clients tell us that this is the most powerful coaching they have ever received. Come join us and start living life with more results, more love, more wealth, health, and peace, as well as inspiration. For more information, call Coach Sam at 1-833-447-CHANGE. Need help deciding if our Radical Change coaching program is right for you? Apply for a free strategy session with one of our coaches. Be prepared to dive deep and identify the areas in life in which you need healing and transformation. Together, we will clarify how to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be and discover what's possible now. How would it feel to get big changes in less than 30 days for you, your loved ones, and your business? Apply now by calling Coach Sam at 1-833-447-CHANGE or visit us at RadicalChangeNow.com.
We all have unique experiences and outlooks when it comes to leadership and team building, yet sometimes we clash, even when trying to achieve the exact same goals. Check out Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks, How to Get It Just Right. Your host is Dr. Cass Henry. A shared journey equals success, and every human interaction has the power to achieve this success by working together. Tune in every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time and 1 p.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Live up to your fullest potential. This is the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
You are listening to Radical Change Now with Dr. Mary Oz. If you'd like to participate in our discussion today, the phone lines are open. Reach us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Let's get back to Radical Change Now. Here again is Dr. Mary Oz.
So we're here with Riana Milne, a powerful life, love, and relationship coach, and a friend of mine from our Sassy Mastermind. And she has some life-changing information to share with us. And it's good to be back with you, Riana.
Thanks, Mary. Yeah, I'm excited to get into this section.
Yes, I know this is like one of your favorite things to talk about and teach.
Well, it is. It's because most people, when they say, I ask, have you had any childhood trauma? The immediate answer is no. And then I go into them, they're like, oh my gosh, I had 5 or 6 of these. And when they start really reflecting back and are really honest with themselves, we can then start dissecting together when they're my client what's going wrong in their relationships, and I know how to help them fix it. So it's really important as I go over the 10 traumas, I suggest you have paper and pen and make 3 columns on your paper. One is for you, just put me. Then my partner is the second column, and the third column would be parents. And I'll give you a keyword as I tell you each one, and then I'll dive a little bit deeper into the topic. So the very first one you put down is the word addiction. And again, this is when you're very small and you're growing up in a household that you just think everything is normal. And sure, you look back and there were some rough moments. Every kid has them. But again, this research from the Kaiser Permanente group shows that 89.8% of people have experienced at least one trauma. So here we go. Did your parent have any form of addiction? So drugs, alcohol, sex, porn, cheating, spending, hoarding, eating, gambling, video games, TV watching. Those are just a few right off the top of my head that addiction became more important than your emotional well-being. Second, verbal abuse. Did you witness it or did you receive it? Either one, you want to put that down. And verbal abuse could be name-calling, verbal put-downs, screaming, or even stonewalling, which means giving you the silent treatment for a couple of hours or a few days when a parent's mad at you. It's like walking on eggshells. And again, you could have either witnessed it or been a recipient of it. Third one, same thing, emotional abuse or neglect. And a lot of people don't look at neglect as a single mom like myself. I had to go out and work to support my girls. I was the one paying child support. And in the work that I had night classes in my model and talent school. And then when I became a therapist, I had night clients. So there were times that I had to let my kids in, to come home from school alone and start their homework and get their snack. But this is actually listed as a form of neglect. Now, it's not that we purposely want to hurt our kids, but it is still within them a feeling of fear, like, oh, I'm coming home alone. Nobody's there for me. And it's kind of deep-seated. They get used to it, but it's still kind of a fear. Okay, number 4. Physical abuse, rape, or molestation. And that could have happened within the home or outside of the home. That is traumatic at any age, but they say even up to age 25, you should put that down as a childhood trauma because that is, a very intense one. Number 5 is abandonment, fault or no fault. A no-fault abandonment is if like a parent dies early, if a parent has to go off to war, or if a parent travels a lot to support their family. I remember as a child growing up, and I always asked my mom, when's daddy coming home? And she always answered, I don't know. And that's kind of disconcerting for a little girl who loves her dad. Like, what do you mean you don't know? Well, what we found out later, many years when my dad was sick in his later life, that he was FBI and CIA. And none of us knew that. And that's why my mom didn't know when he was coming home. So that is a no-fault abandonment because that work helped support the family. And a fault abandonment is one like if your parents divorce and your father would promise you to come around, certain weekends or times and break his promises over and over and not deliver, that would be a fault abandonment. Number 6 is adoption, foster care, or needing to live with relatives or family friends. This is because mom or dad was not able to take care of you. It's a form of abandonment, but they list it as its own. Number 7 is a big one. That's personal trauma, or I'll name some situations. Bullying. Remember feeling very different when you were young. This could happen in an overweight child, a very skinny child. I had a beautiful African-American girl in my office, and she goes, no, Riana, my parents were really great to me. And then I hit that one. She goes, oh, that's it. She goes, I was the only black girl in an all-white school. I never felt like I was good enough. I didn't fit in. I was different. So that's an example. Or if you were born with a medical condition or developed one as a teenager. Next one is sibling trauma. Under this is your sibling could have bullied you. They could have been perceived as the golden child. This means they could have been more athletic, perceived as more beautiful, more talented, or more special in any other way, and you remember feeling not as good. not as important to your parents. Next one is I combined it with two. It used to be only family trauma, but I added in there community trauma. And community trauma was later down the list. But since August, when you look at all the hurricanes we had, all the people displaced by waters, the fires burning in California, the floods, the hurricanes, community trauma has become massive. And you can see how adults are extremely affected by this trauma. But can you imagine little people, how scary that is to lose your home and see your friends die in storms and that type of thing. So mass shootings are becoming every other day. It's really, really sad. And that really affects the community for a long time. I recently spoke in Las Vegas about their mass trauma. And, I was having good conversations with the everyday people from Vegas, and they were still really shook up, like my Uber driver. And, at the end of my ride, he gets out and gives me a big hug. He goes, "Thank you for helping me." That was only a 15-minute conversation, but you can see how shook up they still are about that trauma. And the last one, let me mention some other family traumas. Could be a parent incarcerated, moving a lot. Military families move every 4 years, so these kids have to go from school to school, growing up in poverty and always remembering struggle. That's some family traumas. There's a lot more, but that's just some of the common ones. And number 10, mental health issues in either parents. There's a lot I could name, but the most severe is borderline, where that's fast trigger anger. And I describe it as when they love you, they love you. When they hate you, it's horrid. When they're in a bad mood, you better watch out. Fast trigger anger, and the other is bipolar, which is depression is very heavy. And then when they're happy, you just don't know what you're going to get, leading to a very anxious growing up inside your home. And when parents tend to be anxious or depressed, usually children pick that up as well. So those are the 10 traumas.
Yeah, a couple of things, Riana, just to respond to what you said. Definitely I see the same thing in my practice. When you have a child who had a parent who has what we call difficult personality, so it's either bipolar, borderline personality, or even narcissism. Right?
Yeah,
if you have a narcissistic parent, that can really traumatize a child. And I love how you distinguish, too, about community trauma. And, to me, I kept feeling the closer we are to trauma, when someone experiences, the closer you are to the trauma, I think the longer it lasts.
Yes, absolutely. But the research shows, everyone in the community is greatly affected and for a long period of time, because trauma stays in the brain and the body. So clients, need to know exactly what to do to help diffuse that. And when an emotional trigger happens, the anxiety happens right away. The fear-based thinking comes back. There's a lot of false negative assumptions that you're assuming your partner is doing something when you have no facts that they are. So there's just different ways that I have to teach them to look at things and respond differently and slow down, what's happening in the brain and the body when they feel trauma, triggered.
Now, what also happens is people that have been exposed to trauma, they develop destructive behavioral patterns. And again, it's kind of like the trauma. They're not always aware.
Correct.
Of these destructive behavioral patterns.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'll name some of them. They use them as a child for self-comfort or survival. And I'll give you some examples so it makes sense. And they became coping mechanisms to deal with the difficult parents and their upbringing. So, for example, lying and manipulation can be triggered as an adult if they feel afraid or if they think you're going to punish them, or knowing what they did will upset their partner and think that they may lose you. So lying would occur, for example, let's say there's a little boy has an F on a test and he knows if he takes that home to his father, he's going to have a severe beating. So instead he changes it to an A, finds he gets away with it, and he's like, great, lying works. So it was a coping mechanism for him back at that time. But it becomes such a normal pattern that these are the people that lie about the stupidest things. And you're like, why are you lying about that? Like, that's no big deal. But it becomes so common, it becomes part of their everyday nature. So lying is one. Control is used when a partner doesn't feel good enough or they lack control over their own life. So this can come from being bullied, trauma number 7, or parents putting them down or never hearing compliments from their parents, never hearing you did great today or I'm proud of you. And it's very sad when parents don't do this for their kids because they just have this feeling of never being good enough. And this is where the business person excels. If they didn't feel good enough as a kid, they're always proving. Look, I'll show them and I will become successful, which was the basis of my original watch me attitude for success.
Right.
And you say it inside your head, really, you don't think I can do this? Watch me. You know, when I told people my goal was to get my books in Barnes & Noble, people would laugh and I'd say, watch me. And they're there today. Thank you, God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right. So it does push you on to success. But it's this angst inside of you that, you know, you always have to keep pushing to try and be better. Impulsivity is one of the most dangerous side results because it's making risky choices that can destroy you and your relationship and really hurt your partner if you do something risky from your acting out, if you don't have control over your triggers. A common one for women is people pleasing. These are the women that can't say no and they overdo for others, their partner and their children. And eventually they feel so burnt out and angry and resentful. And they use it unconsciously to raise their self-esteem, to feel like the good woman or the good wife and mom. And, you know, they're so exhausted, though. You know, this might be the woman too tired for sex. And then the guy gets upset and she goes, well, I do everything for you. And then she has no time for herself. So people pleasing is a boundary we have to look at. Abandonment issues is a big one that leads to toxic relationships. This leads to clinginess, codependency, anxiety when your partner is gone, and when you don't feel you're getting the attention that you want or need, you start reaching out to talk to others or seek attention from others in ways that could ruin your relationship. So abandonment issues are tough ones. Anger, yelling and acting out, or shutting down and becoming passive aggressive when you're afraid or you don't get your own way. Anger over time just erodes your partner. Like, you know, the one partner could be pretty healthy, but if your partner's always angry, and you just can't keep up with it for too long. So if this partner refuses to get help or change, this marriage is likely to break up. And a lot of the anger leads to addiction. They quote, need a drink. They need pot to calm down. They go out and gamble. They overeat. They hoard. They find love in things instead of people. That's also the overspenders. So addiction is used to alleviate some of the anxiety, and then it gets them into more trouble. And then use of cheap drama to make their life interesting when they feel these are the people that grow up with so much drama around them that they get anxious when they're bored. So they create drama. They could use sexual fantasy, adapt addictive porn use, or other sexual acting out. And again, often this is done in secret, with the power and the drama coming from the secret. And this, of course, totally ruins a relationship because eventually you're going to be found out. So those are just some of the sabotaging behaviors. There's so many more, but I thought I'd share a few of them.
And it really makes sense, right? So there are coping skills that these people needed to survive because something went wrong.
Exactly.
It's become their way of being, right?
Yes.
So to them, it's like, I don't know what's wrong with you. I'm just being me.
Exactly.
But what they don't realize is
they're normal.
They're being an unhealthy them, right?
Yes,
and there really is a better way.
Correct.
Right? So we're going to take another quick commercial break. And I want to remind you again to go to Dr. Mary Oz, Dr. Mary Oz, freegifts.com. Check out Riana's free gift. And when we come back, she's going to be explaining more to us today how her free gift has some powerful information that can help you if you're experiencing any of these traumas.
Live up to your fullest potential. This is the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Dr. Mary Oz's Radical Change Coaching Program will help you set a healing foundation in your life and teach you how to manifest more of what you want. Are you ready to get the results and radical change you have been longing for too long? Very often, our clients tell us that this is the most powerful coaching they have ever received. Come join us and start living life with more results, more love, more wealth, health, and peace, as well as inspiration. For more information, call Coach Sam at 1-833-447-CHANGE. Need help deciding if our Radical Change coaching program is right for you? Apply for a free strategy session with one of our coaches. Be prepared to dive deep and identify the areas in life in which you need healing and transformation. Together, we will clarify how to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be and discover what's possible now. How would it feel to get big changes in less than 30 days for you, your loved ones, and your business? Apply now by calling Coach Sam at 1-833-447-CHANGE or visit us at radicalchangenow.com.
We hear just be you a lot these days. But who are you? What is an authentic life? The answer to these questions and more will be answered on The Authentic Living Show, hosted by Andrea Matthews. Andrea will interview some of today's spiritual, psychological experts and will provide her own wisdom to help you raise your consciousness to the level of your I Am. Listen for Authentic Living with Andrea Matthews. Heard live every Wednesday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Live up to your fullest potential. This is the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
You are listening to Radical Change Now with Dr. MaryOz. If you'd like to participate in our discussion today, the phone lines are open. Reach us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Let's get back to Radical Change Now. Here again is Dr. MaryOz.
So we're here with Riana, and we're talking about trauma and relationships. And Riana, I thought maybe you could talk to us a little bit about how does all this trauma also affect other people that we love, like families and generations?
Sure. I mean, it's essential that these traumatic issues are analyzed, understood, and worked on daily to become good, conscious behaviors and eliminate the unconscious acting out. So as a knowledgeable certified life and relationship coach with a background in psychology, trauma, and counseling, and experience in working with addictions and the ACOA personality type, or someone with childhood trauma, I found all that was mandatory to end the faulty behavioral patterns. So it takes a successful, emotionally healthy single to meet someone who is the same and a partner. So it's important to recognize what you do and don't want in a partner to date with confidence. And with couples, each partner learns to identify what the emotional trigger is that's coming up for them. They need to apologize for their actions, and they know how to make the subconscious conscious. So the acting out with their partner becomes less and less. The understanding and communication increases and improves dramatically, and a stronger element of trust is built between the partners. And then your partner learns to take it less personally, knowing that you're coming from a sensitive childhood wound. And I describe this as a rainbow for healing. The left side is the beginning of a learning curve. There's so much to teach, you just don't know what to do first. But as you learn it, you're going to do better, then you'll slip, then you'll do better and you'll slip. But eventually, you reach the other side of the rainbow where there indeed is a pot of gold, where you feel totally different about yourself, your life, and you know exactly what to do to stop the emotional triggers that are negative. And how this affects the family, coaching is imperative for couples or singles experiencing this, because the behaviors from trauma tends to go through the generations. I mean, think about it. If you're listeners who have come through trauma as a child, at least one of their parents had trauma when they were raised, and usually their grandparent did too, because it definitely is proven to go through the generations. Parents who have younger children and teens who are acting out, it's really important to get them help. Get help as a couple first to change your parental and household dynamics for the children. then help the children. I have worked with kids of all ages in the schools as a SAC counselor, and that stands for Student Assistance Counselor, who sees emotionally upset kids. And it all comes from the parental relationship in the home environment. So some things to watch out for may be teens yelling back, defying the rules, experimenting with drugs and alcohol, attaching to a love interest very early on, habitual lying, self-mutilation through cutting, having eating disorders, or they may be suicidal. A lot of this is in retaliation of what's happening in the home. And no one should take any of these above items lightly. Get your kids immediate attention. I do also help coach families and teens and college-age kids through Zoom. So I'd be glad and honored to help if you feel that your family needs this kind of help.
Yeah, I know for me, one of the things that's sad is, sometimes I have a young person whose parents stayed in a relationship that was tough and toxic, right? Mm-hmm. And they really have a lot of relationship hangups. Like they say things like, oh, I never want to have kids, or, love's not for me, or, it's kind of sad when we see that it really trickles down.
It is sad.
Into young people's lives. It can affect our parents. It can affect our...
And you know what? I have moms that put their kids in with me for coaching, and I'm talking age 17, 16 through 25.
Absolutely.
Because they're not doing well in college. They're afraid to be away from home, worried about their mom very often if their father was abusive. So, they're not able to concentrate. And a lot of these kids in the smaller grades are identified as ADD, OCD, oppositional defiant. They're not necessarily attention deficit. They come to school because they're stressed out. They can't sleep. They can't focus because when the cortisol is up, the memory goes down. They can't remember their facts. They're coming in from a toxic household where they're very upset. So these were my kids in the school. These were the kids I'd help. And the teachers were funny. They said, Riana, they come back like they're all in Zen. Well, we did meditation, right. And we did other techniques so I could help calm down their brain and their body so they could learn. So it's really important to get the family help.
Yeah. So we only have a few minutes left, and I know you have these wonderful 2 books, a book on love and a book on life. So tell us the titles and tell us about your books and what you want us to know. These are the same books that helped Lisa tremendously, right?
Oh, great.
The testimonial.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's correct. There's a number 1 bestseller, Love Beyond Your Dreams, Break Free of Toxic Relationships to Have the Love You Deserve. And it's 5-star rated sister book, Live Beyond Your Dreams, From Fear and Doubt to Personal Power, Purpose, and Success. And the download you'll get from free from the Live book is you'll get the explanation of what the Watch Me mindset for success is. And from Love, you will get the beginning of section 1, how to spot an emotional manipulator or toxic person, and the chapter, what is a toxic partner. That book is 424 pages. It's from over 250 books that I've read that I cut in. And it's been quoted on Amazon as being the guidebook for love. So I know it's helped a lot of people around the world, and I feel so blessed that it is, because it was a real labor of love. But, from the book, singles will learn exactly how to attract a loving, safe, emotionally healthy partner to create an evolved and conscious relationship, because many people are confused, feeling they did everything right in their relationship, it still ended up with toxic partners. Why? Well, there's reasons for this. It's because your unconscious pulls you to your past, what was normal for you. So you were fiercely attracted to a similar person as your toxic parent. Unfortunately, the good news is this can be healed and totally changed, and you will choose to love in a different way. And this is a danger around chemistry. And then couples will learn from the book, The Roadmap for a Successful Relationship. This is something that no one taught us in school, and I added many lists to go over with your partner to see how well you've done already and what can be better in your relationship. And together, they then create a new relationship dynamic, which renews the friendship, passion, respect, and safety of the relationship. And this is just a small fraction of my courses that I offer, because I have a 200-page notebook that is from the research that we do on the VIP one-on-one coaching coaching with my clients. And then my online school students have a 90-day program with a 100-page workbook. And then their coaching sessions are wrapped around the answers of how they responded in those worksheets.
So I know that you have a concept that you often keep suggesting, which is healthy, loving, evolved relationship. Can you tell us more about that? Because that's the flip side, right? And we're going to be discussing that on our next show, right?
Yes, we're going to go into that a lot. There's so many great examples in my book, totally throughout the book. What is toxic and what is not, what is emotionally healthy and evolved means to be your highest and best self. So the best relationships are conscious, where two people are thinking about what they're doing and why they're doing it before they do it. Evolved, meaning coming from your best self, saying to yourself, is this the best for all? And emotionally healthy. Nobody has codependency, love addiction, or any other negative traits from their past. They've cleaned them all up. So that relationship looks like we're both partners live the concept. If it's you and me against the world, remember that they are protecting their relationship against others. They're always making their partner feel safe and cherished, even though they still keep a balance between you, me, and us, like an equilateral triangle. So there's still boundaries, there's still me and you time, and then there's also equal us time. A lot of couples make the mistake, they go out with their friends, that's their date night. Well, that is the worst thing they can do because there's absolutely no one-on-one intimacy then. And I say it's a 4-to-1 rule, 4 dates alone and 1 with another couple.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Then they identify their emotional needs, which could be like affection, loyalty, thoughtfulness, and their functional needs, which means how to be a good communicator. Are they reliable? Are they a great co-parent? They identify their needs there, and are they being met? We identify their top 6 to 8 requirements, meaning that they're deal breakers. If you don't get them from your partner, you're going to probably leave the relationship. Like for me, one deal breaker is you can't have an addiction. If you come to me or develop an addiction, that's going to be something I don't want to live with. Okay, so, another one could be they must be financially secure. For a young person, they want marriage and children, then that person they're dating definitely must want marriage and children as well. So we identify the requirements. And then another one is they must have a shared vision of their future life together. Both individually, what each other's plans are, and together, what your plans are for a couple deep into the future. So now you have a solid plan and an agreement as you move forward in your relationship together.
Yeah, so, thank you for that clarification. And it reminds me, in our coaching program, we have something called the results-oriented living. And it's really about relationship to self, relationship to others, and relationship to God or divinity. And we kind of set it up as come be your ideal self, find your ideal partner, and then have an extraordinary relationship, right?
Very
because
good.
Not everybody really knows how to do that, have an extraordinary relationship.
Exactly.
So I want to thank you.
This book should help that.
Yes, absolutely. I want to thank you, Riana, for being on the show today. And I want to take a moment to really encourage our guests to go to the link, DrMaryOzFreeGifts.com. Riana has a link where you can just put your name and your email, and then you'll get 2 chapters of her book. We want you to actually take a look at all this information before you come to the call next week, because Riana's going to be back with us, and we're going to look on the other side of that healthy relationship, and she's going to give us some solutions and some powerful information that if you have dating trauma, relationship trauma, or childhood trauma, she's got some solutions for you. So make sure you get her free gift, come back, and the lines are going to be open if you guys want to ask Riana questions. So thank you today for Riana, and I look forward to diving deep next week, and I know you're going to have a teaching moment for us and really give us some solid information.
Thank you, Dr. Mary. I really appreciate you having me on, and I want to encourage your listeners. It's time to have the life you desire and the love you deserve. You're coming into a new year. Do it now. Take the time you need to feel amazing about your life and your love relationships.
So be sure to get your free gift at DrMaryOzFreeGifts.com and check us out at RadicalChangeNow.com. If you're in need of any healing, transformation, or radical change, we're here to help you and assist you. So have an awesome week. and get your free gift. And we look forward to sharing some more with you next Wednesday at 1 p.m. here at the Radical Change Now show on the Empowerment Channel at Voice America.
Thank you for tuning in this week for Radical Change Now. Be sure to join Dr. MaryOz again next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Until then, have the best week of your life.